Here's a handful of reasons why you may well be using the wrong irons, and something like this could be better for you to help you lower your scores and get good at golf. Hi everyone, my name's James Robinson, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're talking about what irons you're using and why. It's not something we often cover on Get Good at Golf, but it's something that's so important because you could be doing all the drills under the sun, but if you're using the wrong golf clubs, it's really difficult for you to shoot the scores that you're trying to get. So here we have a set of Cobra XL irons. They're actually a Costco set, these. We're filming a special video tomorrow over on my channel, so go and check it out if you want to see it. But why could these be the answer for you playing better golf? You see, if you're new to golf or if you're trying to improve your golf, you're not quite at the level you want to be, you're a pretty much a high handicap, these are so easy to hit. Look at that shot, that's gone really, really low. It's a 7-iron. It's not the trajectory I would want, but if Chris zooms in on that, you'll see exactly where it's finished. That wasn't a very good golf swing, but I've gotten away with it. So there's a couple of factors why you will get away with certain shots with these clubs, as opposed to using bladed irons, smaller irons, thinner irons. And the reason for that is, you'll see, first of all, we've got quite a lot of camber on the bottom, quite a thick sole. That's really going to help with turf interaction. It's going to mean the club doesn't dig into the ground. So if you struggle with duffing your irons, if you struggle just duffing your irons, that's one of the reasons why you might be doing so. The soles might be a little bit too thin for you, and they also feature quite a lot of offset. So offset is the angle that you can see the hosel has moved forwards, and that's a great factor if you miss the ball to the right. So if I try to hit a ball to the right here, my bad shot's actually left, so they're not very good for me, and Chris is going to get to exactly why these might not be the best irons for you. But if I try and leave a ball out to the right, you can see it's just starting to come back in a little bit. Again, it wasn't the best shot in the world, but that's middle of the green because these are the best irons for maybe forgiveness possible. Another reason why these are really forgiving is we look at the weighting here. So a bladed set of irons will have no kind of real weighting to show off. They're just a kind of lump of metal. Here we have a really nice perimeter weighting. So that means if you don't strike the ball out the middle of the face, you're going to maintain that ball speed on those off-centre hits. There's obviously factors that you do lose when you get this sense of perimeter weighting, but it makes the clubs way more forgiving for you to be able to hit shots, not quite catch them, and still get the distances that you do want. These aren't the best looking irons in the world. I hold my hands up. They're certainly not a set of irons that I would walk into a shop and want to buy. But if you can get, you see, that's the problem. I hit a good shot there and they start moving to the left. Chris is going to talk to you more about that, but certainly a set of irons that can help you just try and get a little bit better at golf while you're not hitting your best shots. Also, the shaft length is a little bit shorter. That obviously means it's a shorter lever system. It obviously means you're not going to have as much club head speed, so as much ball speed and as much distance, but it makes it a lot easier to control. If you imagine an artist holding a pencil, they never hold it right at the end of the pencil and try and get all the fine lines, do they? They always hold it further down towards the lead. That means it's a shorter lever system. That means you're more in control of that club, and that's going to help you massively hit more fairways, hit more greens, and potentially get that little bit better at golf without thinking, oh, this could be in, Chris. Keep moving to the left. Without necessarily changing too much in your golf game. Okay, we've covered why these could be the perfect irons for you. Let's cover some cons. I think the pros might outweigh it for most people. So, like James just mentioned there, not the best looking club potentially, these Cobra XL Speed irons. And that's what a lot of people think when they're choosing clubs. They don't want something that's big and bulky. There's a lot of pros, obviously, like James has mentioned with this. A little bit of offset, so if you're somebody who loses it to the right, that's going to help the face be closing and get you starting that ball online. Again, shorter shaft is good for some people. It's going to get you a little bit closer to the ball. We know the closer you are, the less that potentially can go wrong. It's also taking a little bit of speed out of it. And then the perimeter weighting is, we know with the everyday golfer, including me and James, we don't always hit the centre of the face. So a little bit of perimeter weighting always goes a long way, and we don't lose any kind of excessive distance. We're not going to drop off 30 yards. For example, if you had a bladed iron and you hit it slightly towards the toe, you could lose 10-15 yards very quickly. So one thing I want to talk about is, obviously, yes, they are good for a certain amount of people, but for people potentially who have a lot of speed, these clubs might not be great. And the reason why is these clubs are around about 3 degrees stronger, so nearly a club stronger. So your 7-iron is more like a 6-iron. Again, it gets the launch, but we might not be able to control those distances. How many people are okay from this yardage so they can come in, they can hit a nice 7-iron,
they get the launch, they get the shot. That has done exactly what we wanted it to do. Launched nice and high, ever so easy to hit. Didn't hit that out of the centre, but it still carried all the way to the green. The problem then is if you are somebody with a lot of speed, you might have a big gap towards the bottom end of your bag. If you've got a pitching wedge that's going a really long way, then you're not going to be able to play those flighter shots. You're also not going to be able to play as controlled shots here, so knockdown shots and also different shapes. Obviously with the offset, if you wanted to play a shot, again these irons are directed at the higher handicapper, so should you be actually trying to play a fade? Probably not. But if you wanted to do that and if you got a little bit better, let's say you went from 28 handicap down to 17 with these irons or 16, you might start to be thinking, right, you know what, I want to start playing different shots. I've got better, I've been having my lessons, I've been watching Get Good at Golf, but these clubs are going to hinder you there. You see if I try and knock one down here, I get a little bit back in my stance, we're going to see that it's still going to launch pretty high. And there,
identical by the way, that's going to carry the bunker and be on the green.
Right next to each other. You can see what the sole of this club is doing exactly what it is designed to do. You see that divot is nice and shallow. You'll see that I've took a
Sorry, which one's shallow?
Well, you'll see that it's nice and shallow. I've taken a nice square divot. The sole is obviously doing exactly what it is expected to do, but there is no difference in flight. So if I'm playing links golf, or if I'm away, or if I'm playing any kind of golf course and we've got some wind, it's going to be very hard for you to score well. We're going to have to start manipulating shots, and we all know as soon as we start to manipulate shots, that's where it all goes wrong. So if you've got a lot of speed, it's potentially not going to work for you, and if you're somebody who likes to shape shots, it's also potentially not right for you because of those stronger lofts. If we now talk about shaft length, again, if we are a little bit shorter, it's going to take speed out of your club head. We want you to have as much speed as possible, as long as it can be controlled. If we start to get a shorter shaft and we get less speed, then we're not going to be able to optimize what we have. You might be losing distance for no apparent reason. You might be a senior golfer who's getting a little bit slower as it is. If we then go a shorter shaft, you're losing more distance and we're not going to be able to get you hitting it where we want it to go. So make sure, guys, when you're thinking about these irons, you could be perfect for these, you could be someone who needs that little bit of offset, but if you are somebody who hooks the ball, like James said, it's not going to be a club for you. The offset's not going to be great. You might want to look for something that's forgiving but doesn't have the offset on there. You might also just look for something that's got perimeter weighting but not stronger lofted. There's plenty of options out there on the market where you can get it a little bit more neutral if you're somebody who misses it to the left, and they might suit you a little bit better.
It's another identical shot. Guys, one of the big facts I really want to get at the end of this video as well, I've done a lot of work with Foxy. We all know Foxy on my channel, a beginner golfer. He had a lot of speed from day one. He's very, very tall, he's very, very long-limbed, and he always had speed. So he didn't necessarily need a forgiving golf club, because when he hit it really well, it went miles and miles and miles, and the spin just dropped off. So you have to think about maybe trying to get forgiveness in different areas. You have to think about maybe a progressive set that could really, really help you. But guys, make sure you don't waste your money buying golf clubs. Make sure you go and try them out, and also make sure you try getting good at golf by subscribing and watching all the videos. Thank you so much, guys. See you at the same time tomorrow. Bye.